Hi class, my name is Suzanne Willis. I will be your instructor this summer for Chem 151. This is a completely asynchronous course. It's the lecture and lab components together, and I will be the instructor for both. We won't be meeting face-to-face at all or via Zoom this semester. So in this video today, I'm going to show you the different parts of the class and where you can find them and get you set up to take off. So a little bit about myself. I've taught at AB Tech for the last 10 or 12 years. I grew up in Charlotte and went to Appalachian and Wake Forest, and I've now been in Asheville for about 15 years or so, and have taught high school and UNCA, and then I've kind of landed at AB Tech for the last several years. I really enjoy being here and teaching chemistry, and I'm glad to help you however I can this semester. My husband is a builder here in town, and we have 4 kids. They're 11, 9, 7, and 3. And yeah, so I would love to hear anything about you. If you would at any point like to send me an email and update me on what you're going to school for, or if you have any questions or concerns going into the class. I know everybody kind of has different things that they're juggling between work and school and life. So I'm happy to support you however I can throughout the course. So here I'll start with the course syllabus that you can see. Kind of run through this and hop back and forth between the different sites that you'll be using. As far as the materials you'll need for the class, they're listed right here. So just to be clear with you about what you'll need and what is just recommended. One is the textbook. So the textbook that we use is technically Chemistry, the Central Science 15th edition. However, I will not be giving any reading assignments or homework assignments directly from the textbook. A lot of my students don't use the textbook a lot. It's more just a supplemental thing for you to have available if needed. Therefore, if you want to purchase an older textbook that's maybe an older edition, like the 10th through the 14th edition, that would be totally fine. Or an e-text would be fine. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. So the textbook itself, it's the same textbook that's used for Chem 151 and 152. So if you're taking both and want a hard copy book, it will be good for both. However, it is not a required material for my course. The next thing listed here is the lab manual. This is a requirement for the class. It needs to be purchased through the AB Tech bookstore. It's less than $10. And it has to come from here. It's something that we make here at the college, so you can't find it anywhere else. So that is a required material for the class. Another requirement is where you'll find your homework, which is on a course called Mastering Chemistry. So you'll need to purchase what's called an access code for Mastering Chemistry so that you can access the assignments and I can then see your grades. The way this works is you can purchase it a couple of different ways. One way to purchase this is if you buy the brand new 15th edition book, it will come with the access code. So that's one package. It's the most expensive package, but it will get you through Chem 1 and Chem 2, and it'll give you a textbook and the homework access code for Mastering Chemistry. That's option 1. Option 2 is what I recommend for most people. If you go directly to Mastering Chemistry online, you can go to their website, purchase the access code. The access code has to be the 15th edition. You cannot get an older edition access code or it won't match the course. So you'll buy the access code and it will come with an e-text. So therefore you'll have the homework assignments and then you'll have an e-text that's available for you if you find that you need to read the book at all. And that's a much cheaper option. You can purchase a short session, which will just get you through Chem 151, or you can buy the lengthier version that will last for 2 semesters, and that'll get you through Chem 151 and 152 if you have to take that course as well. So my recommendation is to buy the access code directly online. It will come with an e-text. Please be sure that you get the 15th edition. And then you also have to buy the lab manual from the AB Tech bookstore. So those are the main things you need to get set up. I will say if you are waiting on financial aid or any other reason you need to hold off, Mastering Chemistry does offer a 14-day free trial. So you can sign up, get started so you're not behind. And then when you're ready to purchase it, it'll just roll right into your account. So that is a good thing to keep in mind. In this course, I actually need to take off safety goggles. You do not need safety goggles in this class. And that is a good reminder to tell you that our labs will purely be online, where you watch me do the lab. I'll show you all of that here in a little bit, but you will not need any lab equipment. You will not be doing any hands-on labs at home. So you don't actually need safety goggles. I'm sorry for that mistake. You do need a calculator that can do scientific notation. We don't need to be able to graph, but it just needs to be able to do like times 10 to the negative ninth, for example. You need very regular internet access. You'll need to check your email very regularly, and all of the course materials will be online. And then lastly, you'll need an app of some sort on a phone or a computer to where you can take pictures of your completed lab pages and convert them into PDFs. Here are a few options. I would say most students use what's called the CAM Scanner app on their phone. It's free. I think it's very user-friendly. And you convert it to PDF before you upload it onto Moodle. So I'll show you how all of that will work throughout the course, but that's a list of the materials to get you started. Here's some contact information about myself. Once again, I'm Suzanne Willis. Here is my office number. The main way, however, to get a hold of me is via email. So here's my email address right here. I will also be sending you very regular emails to the course. Typically, I'll send them through Moodle under course announcements, so I'll show you where you can find that. But please check your regular AB Tech student email so that you don't miss any announcements or corrections or changes. That's how I will always communicate with you as a class. If you are local, you can also find me in my office during office hours. So I am in the Sycamore building, and here are office hours right here. You're also going to be able to log in via Zoom if you would like to meet during these hours as well for any questions that you have. If you ever email me and don't hear from me within 24 hours, please email me again. I really, really appreciate you following up if that happens. I most likely read it in a moment that I couldn't respond, and I would really appreciate you sending me another email. If you ever don't get me within 3 days, then something is probably wrong, and you can touch base with my department chair right here. So that's just kind of an intro to what you'll need for the course, how to find me, and how we will communicate. So most of the class will be located on Moodle. If I kind of zoom down through here, if you look at the grading policy, this will just help kind of drive me showing you what to do in the course. The graded assignments, there are pretty much 3 categories. There's the lab assignments, and they'll be for 25% of your grade, and your lowest grade is dropped. Homework will be found all on Mastering Chemistry. Your lowest grade's dropped, and that's 15%. Tests are going to be on Moodle. They're for 45%. There's not a lowest grade dropped. However, the final exam at the end of the course that covers all of the material, it can replace your lowest test grade. So say you had a 70 on a test grade and that was your lowest test, and you made an 80 on the final, that 70 will be replaced with the 80. So that's kind of the breakdown of the course. These are the only types of assignments that will be graded is labs, homework, and tests. So let me run through these and kind of show you where to find them and how to use Moodle for the class. So here's what your Moodle page will look like. Course announcements is where I will send you emails. Whenever I send a course announcement, it'll go to your AB Tech student email. It will also stay here. So when you click on course announcement right here, you can see all the emails that I sent you and quickly run back to one if you're looking for some information. Right here at the top of Moodle, I'll always keep the next set of due dates listed. Now, everybody's probably working at different paces. You can work ahead as much as you'd like, but this will only show just the upcoming due dates. So you can look at the course schedule down here to see the entire course. But here, for example, the very first thing you need to be doing in this class is as soon as you get off this video, if you will review the course syllabus, which can be found right here on Moodle, read through it, send me any questions that you have, make sure you feel good about all the policies, and then to be marked as present and active in the class, you'll have to complete the syllabus verification form that you see right here. All it is it just requires you to say, yes, you've read the syllabus, you understand the policies, and you've asked any questions. Until you do that, you are not marked as attending in the class. So please do that the very first thing that you do. If it's not completed by the 28th, the college will drop you from the class. So that's the first and really important assignment listed here. And then you'll just see the upcoming experiments, when they're due, mastering chemistry homework, when they're due, and when the test is. So that's always there. I'll always keep that updated for you. You can find the syllabus here. You can also find the course schedule right here, which just runs through the entire class. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, each week it gives you a tentative what lectures to listen to, what labs to be working on, and any other graded assignments that are coming up, okay? You once ahead can always work ahead of schedule. You just have to meet the set deadlines, okay? So please keep your eye on the deadline. So if you know that something's not going to work out the week of a test, you can always work and have that test completed before time. So here, let me show you how you would go through the course from the very start. You see that at the beginning, you're starting with chapter 1. So let me show you where to find chapter 1 materials. On Moodle, near the top, you will see what's called the lecture video links. Right here, you'll click on Willis Live Videos. All of the video lectures for the entire class are already here and ready for you. So what you would do is it tells you that first week, here are the lectures you need to listen to. So you'll click on chapter 1, and there we'll start the beginning of chapter 1 lectures. Once again, this is just a tentative schedule. You can work ahead as needed, just kind of budget your time as necessary. So here's where you'll find the lectures. Before you start listening to the lecture, you should go to Moodle and go down to the first chapter. So each chapter will have a set of materials. You are going to be looking for what is called the guided notes. Those are the notes that I teach using. So if you click on guided notes, what they will look like, let me switch my screen so you can see, is they're going to look like an open outline like this. This is exactly what I'm writing on during the lecture video. So it's going to feel very similar to you being in a classroom setting. I recommend printing the chapters guided notes for each chapter and actually writing in them as you listen to the video. If you just sit and listen to me, it's probably not going to really be digested or processed while you're listening. But if you can write as if you are going through a normal lecture in a classroom, that's typically how people find it to be most helpful. So every chapter has a set of guided notes. On Moodle, so like there's the chapter 1 guided notes, there's the chapter 2 guided notes, here's the chapter 3, here's the chapter 4. So every chapter has guided notes. It also has extra stuff on Moodle that may be helpful, just extra practice problems, but that's going to be the primary writing through it as you go. So then if you look at the schedule based on chapter 1, you can then begin completing the labs that are beside them. So experiment 1 is based on chapter 1. And so the way you'll find experiments is, number 1, they're in that lab manual that you're purchasing from the AV Tech bookstore. So that's where you will write down all of your lab assignments. You'll fill in the pages. Where you will see the lab videos is on Moodle, up towards the top. Here were the lecture videos I just showed you. That's where you find the lectures. Then right below that is the lab resources. So if you click on the lab resources, here's a list of all the lab videos for the entire semester. There are certain experiments that don't really have an experimental portion, like experiment 1 actually. There's some info I've put here, but there's not an actual experiment. You actually just complete the pages. It's a bunch of calculations in your lab manual. But for other experiments, you'll watch me do the video. As you watch me do the lab, you will record the data and then you'll complete all the calculations. So here is where you'll find all the information for an experiment. Like for example, here's experiment 2. You'll watch the introductory video. That'll kind of give you a heads up for what the lab is about. And then for part A, as you watch me, you'll record anything you need to in your lab book. Same for part B, and then some data will just be provided. So you'll get some of the data inside the videos, some of the data from just the handout right here. And then once you have all the videos completed, you will go back and complete all of the calculations in your lab book, okay? Once you complete the lab pages, you'll take pictures of your completed pages, convert them to PDF, and then right here is where you will submit them. Okay, so there's a submission link for every experiment. It'll tell you the due date, and you'll just click on there and upload your PDF, and I'll be able to grade it and give you feedback. Okay, so that's how the labs will be completed. So if we go back to the schedule here, so we now know where to find the lectures. They're on Moodle. You'll print the guided notes, listen to the lecture, and write out notes. The labs, you now know they are found on Moodle. You're going to watch the videos, get the data from Moodle, and then you'll be writing in your lab manual, take pictures and submit them on Moodle. Okay, over here is the mastering chemistry, all of the assignments and the due dates. There is a mastering chemistry for every chapter. And what it will look like is here's your Mastering Chemistry. You can once again purchase this directly from Mastering Chemistry. And what it'll end up looking like is all of your assignments are also already ready and good to go here. There's one for every chapter. So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through chapter 10. Here are the due dates. There are 3 lab assignments that are going to be completed here instead of in your lab manual. I will remind you of that, but you can see it on the schedule. So as you work your way through your labs, every once in a while you'll get to one that says Mastering Chemistry assignment instead of in your lab manual. Okay, so just be aware of that. But outside of that, it's all of the chapters for the course. And the way these will work is every chapter you have 2 attempts to complete that assignment. So you don't have to use both, but if you want 2 attempts, you can use them both, and just the highest grade is kept for each chapter. You can start and stop these assignments as much as you want. They are not timed. You can use your homework. You can use all of your course notes. You can use the textbook, the e-text. These are for practice. So yes, they're for a grade, but they're primarily for you to be able to work with the material, quiz yourself, work through, and get, find what questions you still have. So that's what the Mastering Chemistry assignments will look like. Okay. And then the last graded assignment are going to be the tests, right? So you see tests for chapter 1 and 2, tests for chapter 3 and 4. Those are going to be found on Moodle as well, right under the labs. So here you can see each test. They all have a due date in place. They tell you how long the time is that you have. So for tests, they are a timed assignment. So you need to open it, ready to go, and know that you're going to have a set time limit. For the tests, you are not allowed to use other people, and you're not allowed to use the internet or any form of AI. So for tests, we ask that you only use your notes. So you can use your course material, your notes, your textbook, your formula sheet, but you cannot use other people or any websites, okay? That's how the tests will work. And then let me hop back to the syllabus for a second. So here's the breakdown again. Hopefully now you feel comfortable where to find each of these materials. Let me talk about the grading policy for each. So for the homework, as I mentioned, Mastering Chemistry, each chapter, you will have 2 attempts at that chapter. The highest grade will be kept. And then over the whole semester, your lowest Mastering Chem will be dropped, okay? So you get 1 grade dropped in that category. If you do complete Mastering Chemistry after the due date, you can still receive credit. It tells you down here under late work, you'll get a 5% late penalty each day, but you can always get up to 50, or it won't be reduced more than 50% of your grade for being late. So homework can be done after the fact. However, it's of course more helpful to do it before the due date because that's also the test date, okay? As far as labs go, you'll watch the videos, complete the lab manual, and submit it on Moodle. There is 1 lowest lab grade that will be dropped. And as far as late labs go, you will receive a 10-point reduction per day if they're late, and that's up to 1 week late. So Please touch base with me if you're going to miss a lab for any reason. Otherwise, you can only, you'll have a 10-point reduction per day. And then if you miss one lab, that's no big deal, since you will have one lowest lab grade dropped. And then tests, they'll be completed on Moodle. Like I mentioned earlier, test grades are not dropped. However, the final exam can replace the test grade if needed. Okay. So those are kind of the course materials and where to find all of them, and the grading policy. And then the other thing I'll mention on here is, so the way Moodle is laid out here is you've got the due dates at the top, then you just have helpful information around here. As far as getting on to mastering chemistry, if you go right here, it'll give you the instructions to walk you through how to sign up. So please use that if that's a new thing for you. And then here's the Center for Academic Achievement. So 2 options for tutoring this semester, which I highly, highly recommend, are listed right here. The Center for Academic Achievement is the same thing as what the tutoring center has been in the past. They have moved locations, so they are now in the library. So if you're local, you can go to the lower floor of the library and you can just sit and work on your materials and just ask as you have questions. Here is the face-to-face open hours, and here are the Zoom hours. You don't have to have video, you don't have to have anything fancy. You can just log on. As soon as you click that link, a tutor will show up within these hours, and they'll be ready to answer any questions that you have. You can use them to complete labs. You can use them to complete mastering chemistry. So you can ask questions on those materials. You cannot use them for a test, okay? So I highly recommend hopping on there and asking questions as needed. If you have a different schedule where you typically are doing homework overnight and not during these normal hours, then there's one other option for you called Thinking Storm. It's an online tutoring service, so it's only online, but it's 24 hours a day. So you can click this link and log in to use tutoring at any time of day. So those are 2 options. I really highly recommend not getting behind in the class. So you have to hit the deadlines in order to complete the assignments. Tests cannot be made up after the fact, so you have to keep up with your deadlines. And then secondly, the material grows and just kind of stacks on top of each other. So if chapter 1 doesn't make sense, then chapter 2 is going to suffer and chapter 3 is going to suffer. So I really, really highly recommend that you ask the questions you need, that you work hard along the way so that you don't end up halfway through the semester and feeling, like you're drowning in the material. So we have great resources. This tutoring center is really, really great. So I highly recommend using them as you have questions. You can also, of course, email me with questions. The only downfall is that you're waiting for my response, and it's not face-to-face. So the tutoring center can be both immediate and face-to-face. So I think that's a great resource. So I hope that this video kind of gave you an idea of how to get started in the class. So the very first thing you want to do is go run through the course syllabus, see if you have any questions, and then please complete the syllabus verification. That will mark you as active and present in the course. And then once you've done that, and gathered your course materials, you'll just want to get started on chapter 1. So you'll just keep looking at this schedule and just working your way through the lectures, working your way through the labs, and working your way through the homeworks. And then every so often there's a test. I hope all of that's clear. I'm here to help in any way that I can. So please email me if you have any questions at all. I hope you have a really great semester and we will be in touch. Take care.